Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is YAHMAD. This is now the second part of the spreadsheet functions activity. So this task has been created as a mock exam for my year 9s who are completing their spreadsheet unit. So we're going to be looking at a range of formulas and functions. So some of the functions have been taken from the GCSE course and some have been taken from the AS level course as well. So the level of complexity for the tasks has been identified with these colours here. So the easier tasks are highlighted as red, and as we work through this activity the tasks will become more and more challenging. So you can check out the previous video. So where we left off was we finished off with the if statements and an or. Now what we're going to be doing is looking at nested if statements. So this is where we have multiple conditions. So let's zoom in. Let's have a look at this question here. So now we're going to be looking at using nested if statements to work out a taxi service. Now the taxi service is dependent on how many miles we're travelling. So for this example we're not going to be doing a taxi fare, we're just going to be focusing on the taxi service. Now the miles are in this column here. If the miles are less than 7, then we're going to be using fast cars as a taxi service. If the miles are equal to or more than 7 and less than 16, then we're going to be using streetcars as a taxi service. So here, for the first two examples will be logical tests. If these two tests are not true, then by default we're going to be using a car or taxi service, which will basically be for anyone who's traveling more than or equal to 16 miles. So we need to focus on the less than part of this question here. So to start, what I'm going to do, I'm going to move this box down so we can see the criteria as we type out the formula. So we're going to enter the formula into the cell here, equal if, checks whether a condition is met, returns one value if true and another value if false. So we want to click on miles and we want to check to see if it's less than 7. So that's your logical test. If that's true, in speech marks, we're going to write fast cars. So that's our first logical test and our first true statement. Let's press comma. We're not yet to the false because we have another condition to check, and we're going to focus on the less than part. So if again the miles is less than 16, comma, and then in speech marks again the taxi service which we're going to be using is going to be streetcars. So now we have our second logical test and the second true statement. So this is the first logical test, the first true statement, the second logical test and a second true statement. Now if we're not going to be using fast cars or streetcars, then by default we're going to be using this taxi service here. So we're now in the false. Let's enter the false value. Let's close the speech mark, and before I press enter we need to close the bracket. So you'll notice we have two brackets open. The first one's a black bracket, the second one's like a red colour. So let's close the first bracket and let's close the second bracket and press enter. So we have fast cars. Let's check to see if this formula is now working. So let me move this box back up. So anything below 7, so let's type in 6, should be fast cars. 2, 3, yeah, fast cars. Okay, equal to or more than 7. So if I type in 7, it should give me streetcars. However, if I type in anything that's less than 16, so the highest number we can type is 15, that should also give us streetcars. Now if it's not less than 7, if it's not less than 16, so more than or equal to 16 or higher, okay, it's going to be the car or taxi service. Yeah, and that's working perfectly. 18, yeah. So we can drag this formula down. It's always good to test your formulas with different values. Okay, so that's that one done. Let's now go down to the second option here. So we need to work out now the bonus type. It's going to be bonus A, B and C, and again it's going to be dependent on how many goals we've scored. Now if the goal scored is less than 16, then a bonus type will be A. If the if the goals are more than or equal to 16, then and less than 30, then a bonus type will be B. If the bonus type is not bonus A or bonus B, then a bonus type will be C. So let's start this question. So equal if again, we're going to be referring to the goals column. So if the goals And again, we're going to focus on the less than part, less than 16. That's your logical test. If that's true, press comma to move forward. Then the bonus type will be A, so we can type in A in speech marks, comma, if. Again, we have another condition. So the goals are now more than or equal to 16, however less than 30, and again we're going to focus on the less than part. Then we're going to have bonus B, and if it's not bonus A and if it's not bonus B, by default the bonus type has to be C. So C is for goals which are more than or equal to 30, and again we can close the two brackets, so red one first and the black one, and let's press actually before press enter, what do you expect to see? Are the goals here less than 16? No, this is 35, so that's not less than 16. Are the goals more than or equal to 16 and less than 30? Nope, that's greater than 30. So we expect to see bonus C. Let's press enter. Yes, we got bonus C. Now I'm going to enter a value less than 16, so the highest number which we can enter is 15. That should give us bonus A. Let's check the second condition is working. So it's going to be basically more than or equal to 16 and less than 30. So if I type in 16, should be bonus B. If I type in a number less than 30, so 29, that should also give me bonus B. Let's type in the original values, so 35. So that's your nested if. We have two logical tests, two true statements, okay, another logical test, another true statement, and then the last value is the false. So if it's not A or B, then it's going to be bonus C. Okay, so we can drag this down now. Let's go across now. So now we're going to be looking at task 7, lookups, and we're going to be doing vertical lookups and horizontal lookups. So what we have here is student ID, and these IDs will have an exact match in this table array here. We want to output the name, the house color, and the year. So we need to use a VLOOKUP. Is V because it's going to be a vertical lookup. So we can do this by typing in equal VLOOKUP. We can look up the student ID, which will also be found in the table array. So click on student ID. We don't want to lock this because when we do replicate, drag the formula down, this will then go into the next cell and look for this match, which will be this cell here. Okay, let's press comma. The table array, so we're looking for the name. So what we want to do is basically highlight from the student ID to the second column, which contains the name. Once you highlighted the table array, and once it's highlighted, you can see this little box going around. Press function F4 or shift or F4 to lock the cells. So depending on your keyboard, you will either press F4 or function F4 to lock. So you can see the dollar signs because I pressed the button, function F4 on my keyboard. Now you can move forward to the column index. So in which column can you see the name? We can see the name in the second column, so we can type in 2. And finally, we want an exact match. So this code exactly matches up with this code here. And in the second column, the name is Sarah. So that should be the output for this particular formula. Let's close the brackets. Let's press enter. We've got Sarah. For this ID, B00765, the output in the second column should be Julie. So we can drag this down. So let's do another example. So let's do the house color. So again, it's going to be a vertical lookup. Again, we can look up a student ID. For the table array, we can come down to here, and we want to go now across to the third column. Let's lock the table, comma, the column index. Now we're going to refer to column 3. And again, it's going to be an exact match with the student ID. So Sarah, this student ID matches with this ID here. And in the third column, the house color should be red. Let's close the bracket, press enter. Yes, that's what we've got. And Julie is also in red, actually. So let's drag this down. And the year, again, same process. We're going to use the same lookup value, comma. Actually, what we can do, let me show you something. We could use the name as a lookup value, but what if the names were the same? For example, we had 2 Billies, so that wouldn't work. So what we're going to do is look up the individual unique student ID as a lookup value instead. So some people may think, oh, why can't we use the name? In this example, it would work because we have different names, but I'm going to stick to using the student ID, which is the unique value for each of these records. The table array, now we want to highlight all 4 columns. We're going to lock the cells, comma, we want to refer to the 4th column, and we again going to go for an exact match. Close the bracket, enter. So Sarah is in year 9, yep, that's what we've got. Okay, so that's that part done. Right, now let's look at this lookup. So with this example here, it was an exact match. These codes exactly matched up with these codes here. But now we want to look up the grades, and you'll notice these grades don't exactly match up with the grades shown here. So it's not going to be an exact match, it's going to be approximate at the end. Anything that's above 90 should be an A star. Anything that's between 80 and 90 should be an A. So we start off the same. Equal VLOOKUP. We want to look up the percentage. Some people may look up the name, and that's a mistake because you don't see any names in a table array. So we're going to look up the percentage, comma. The table array is going to be this table here, and we want to lock these cells, comma. We want to refer to the second column of what we highlighted, and this time, as we mentioned before, it's going to be an approximate match since these values don't exactly match up with the values in the table. Let's close the bracket and press enter, and as you can see, we've got A star for Mohammed. For Abdullah, what do we expect to see? Now Abdullah's grade is 67. It's not above 70, so it can't be a B, so it falls within this range here, so it's going to be a C. So 60 to 70 will be a C, or anything in between those values. Let's save the changes. Okay, so that was the vertical lookup since we were dragging it down vertically. Now we're going to be looking at the horizontal lookup, and we're going to be dragging this formula across like this. So that's why it's called a H lookup, it's horizontal. So let's do a lookup. And what we have are positions or codes for different positions. So GK refers to goalkeeper, WI refers to winger, FB refers to fullback, and so forth. So the only thing different about this is instead of looking at which column is the output going to be from, we're going to identify which row the output will come from. So the lookup value is going to be above. We want to look up this cell here, comma, and then we want to highlight this table array, and again we can lock the table array so it's not moving anywhere. And instead of referring to a column for the H lookup, we're going to refer to which row the information is, and we want to refer to the second row to get the positions. So let's type in 2, and again it's going to be an exact match. If you see GK, the exact match will be GK here, and in the second row you have goalkeeper, and that's what we're looking to output. Let's close the bracket, press enter, and let's go across. So that's that done. So FW should be forward, yeah. CB should be centre back, yes, that's fine. Okay, so that's that part done. So that was a vertical and horizontal lookup. Let me just see if I've not missed out anything. Okay. Save the changes. Okay, so now what we're going to be doing, I'm just going to slightly zoom out, is using VLOOKUPs again, but we're going to be using extract functions. We want to make exact matches. So you can see here, the middle characters here in red exactly match up these items here, or these values here. The first letter on the left matches up with the first letter in this table array here, and the last 2 characters on the right exactly match up with the characters here shown in this table array as well. So here we have the values in the middle, so let me zoom back in so we can see what we're doing, and we're going to use a mid function as part of the lookup. So let's type in equal VLOOKUP. For the lookup value, we're going to type in mid to extract the middle values. The text we want to extract from is going to be this code here, comma. The start number is going to be the 3rd character in, comma, and the number of characters we want to extract will be 3. Let's close a bracket to get back to the VLOOKUP. Now we can go to, after we press comma, we can highlight unlock the table array. So you can see we've extracted the middle 3 characters, which will match exactly with the values in this table here. So you can see triple B is here. So let's lock this table. So press your lock button again. You can see the dollar signs, comma, we want to refer to the second column to get the stock name, and again it's going to be an exact match, so the middle three characters values will match up exactly with these values here. So let's close the bracket, press enter, and let's replicate, drag this down. So let's double check the character or the code which has 3 B's should be chocolate. Yeah, that's fine. Water should be CAA. Yes, so that's an exact match. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to be extracting the first character on the left, and again that's going to exactly match up with these values here in this table array. Okay, so equal VLOOKUP. Let me just scroll across slightly so we can see what we're doing. For the lookup value, this time it's going to be the first character on the left, so let's type in left. Let's refer to this barcode for the text, and comma, we only want to extract one value in red. Close the bracket, and we're back to the VLOOKUP, so let's press comma to get to the table array. And again, same principle, we're going to lock this table. We're going to refer to the second column because we're looking for the phone brand, so the phone brands are in the second column of what we highlighted, and again it's going to be the exact match. Let's close the bracket, press enter. So A is Samsung, let me double check if that's right. Yep, A is Samsung, and B should be Nokia. So if you go up here, if I drag this down, I'm hoping to see Nokia in the second cell. Yes, that's fine. Right, so now what we're going to be doing is using the right extract function to extract the last two values on the right hand side, and again we're going to be looking up the same table. So equal VLOOKUP. So this time we're going to type in right, we're going to refer to this text here, comma, we want to extract 2 characters, comma, and then we're back in a VLOOKUP again. So comma to go to table array, we want the model. The model is going to be in the second column here. It's not actually a model, it's a car brands, but for this example we'll just carry on. So let's lock this table array, comma, we again want to refer to the second column, and then we want again the exact match. Let's close the brackets. So NI should be Nissan, so I'm not going to type, I'm going to, instead of model, I'm going to, this is the model here really, the car name, I'm going to change this to brand so it just makes a little bit more sense. Okay, and then we can drag this down, so TO should be Toyota, CH should be Chevrolet, so let me double check if that matches up. Yeah, and anything that ends in HO is going to be Honda. Yes. So what we've done here are VLOOKUPs using the left, right and mid function to extract certain values. So in the first example we used the mid function to extract the middle values, which exactly matched up with these values here. Second example, we used the left function to extract the first value, which exactly matched up with the values in this table here. And for the last example, we used the right extract function to take out the last 2 characters on the right side to make an exact match with these values here. Save the changes. Okay, so now we've done HLOOKUPs and we've done VLOOKUPs. Okay, so now we're just going to be focusing on what lookup is. So what we have here is an order ID, and these order IDs will match with this column here. And what we want to output is the salesperson name, and then finally branch. Okay, so the advantage of using just a lookup is it's not, let me just press cancel it. You have more flexibility basically. So now we're going to be going backwards. So with a typical VLOOKUP, we had to go right to find the output. So with a lookup, you can go backwards. You can also go vertical or horizontal, as long as the same values match up. Right, so let's start this. So this time it's just going to be a lookup. So looks up a value either from one row or one column. from an array, provided for backward compatibility. So that's what we're going to be doing. So let's type in equal lookup. The lookup value will be the order ID, comma. The lookup vector is where are the order IDs. So the order IDs are within this range of cells here. And again, what we want to do is lock this, because when we drag the formula down, this range, we need to keep it locked in the same place. So press your button to lock the cells, comma. And we want the salesperson name. So the salesperson name will be outputted in this range here. So this is your results vector. This is where you're trying to find your output. So let's highlight this range here. So you notice we've gone backwards from the lookup value. Let's lock this and let's press enter. So where did Lionel Messi come from? So the order ID was 4541, which matches up with this order ID, and the salesperson name is Lionel Messi. This one here, which is 4544, should give us Zlatan Ibrahimovic. So if I've done this right, that should work. Yep, perfect. Now for the branch, what we're going to be doing, there's two ways of doing this. We can either look up the salesperson name to get a branch name, but what we're going to do is stick with the order ID just in case the salesperson name may be duplicated. So again, it's going to be a lookup, and the lookup value is going to be the order ID. I'm not sure what's happened there, comma. The lookup vector again will be the order ID. So we want to, that's the lookup value here, and we want to look within here to find the order ID. So let's lock this range of cells, comma, and the results vector, where is the branch? So the branch is going to be in this column here. Let's highlight this column, and again we want to lock these two ranges. So when you do drag down the formula, the only thing that's going to be changing is the order ID, which is the lookup value, looking up this one and then looking up this one. But these two ranges here will be locked and kept in the same position. Close the bracket. So is Lionel Messi from the Leeds branch? Yes, he is. Zlatan Ibrahimovic should be from the London branch. So you can drag that down. Yes, and Cavani and Ronaldo are from the Manchester branch. So yeah, Manchester and Manchester. Let's save the changes. Okay, so now task 10. And again, it's looking more challenging now. We're going to be using the extract function. So again, the left, right, and mid, and an if statement as well. So what we have here are student codes. We have names, and we want to show yes or no to see if they get free lunch, school bus, and get a discount for the fees as well. So it's dependent on their code. So what we need to do first of all is to check if the code starts with 1 and ends in AA. Now since we have letters and numbers together, this is going to be part of a text string, so we want to put any characters into speech marks to check if this is going to be the same. Okay, so let's start. So let's see, the first thing is the code starts with 1. I'm just going to write it here, okay, it's just to help me remember. The code starts with 1, so it's equal to 1 basically, and ends in 2 A's. Okay, so what we do is we type in equal if, and for the logical test, what we want to check is if the first character, so let's extract the first character, so let's type in left, let's click on the student code for the text, comma 1, because we want to extract this, and we want to check if it's equal to 1. So since it's part of a text string, we need to put 1 into a speech mark. Okay, and I just realized because we've got two conditions, I'm going to put and before the left actually, so I forgot to do the and, so let's put an and. So that's our first logical test, so this has to be true. Okay, and the last two characters need to end in A. So again, what we're going to do now is type in right, click on this text here, comma, the two or the number of characters which we want to extract this time will be 2. And what we now want to do is check to see if the last two characters are equal to AA. So for the first two it is, not for the last one. So if it's equal to A and A, that's our two logical tests. It might be easier to see up here. So Since we have two conditions, we've got and. So the first thing we want to check is if the left character, first character, is equal to 1, and then the last two characters on the right are equal to 2a's. If they're both true, so actually let's close the bracket to get back to the if statement. Yeah. If they're both true, let's press comma. Yes, he will have a free lunch. So let's put yes in speech marks. And if it's not true, one of the conditions are not true, then he will not have a free lunch. Let's press enter and let's drag it down and let's see if it's worked or not. So for the first two examples, we've got 1 and 1, which is true, that's correct, and they end in 2a's. So the first two people will get free lunch. Ali unfortunately won't get free lunch. If I was to change this last two, since the first character is 1 into a's, then he will also get free lunch, but since his code ends in B, he's not going to get free lunch. Okay, so the next example here, let me just edit this note. I can't really see it, what it says. So starts with 4 and ends in B. Okay, so yeah, so that's that note there. Okay, so starts with 4 and ends in B. So we can see here, none of these codes start with 4. Okay, however, one of these codes ends in B, so no one will be on a school bus, so no school bus for anyone. So I'm not going to do this. I'll let you guys do this one yourself. And the fees discount starts with 3 and ends in AA. And again, nothing starts in 3. You got these two that end in AA. So you need to have both of them end in both logical tests true. So it doesn't matter if one test is true, both of them have to be true. Okay, so if I just double click again, what we did was we had and, we extracted the first value to check if it was equal to 1, and then the second logical test, which extracted the two characters on the right to see if they were equal to AA. And if they were both true, then yes, they were going to get a free lunch. If not, they will not get a free lunch. Let's press enter. Okay, and we're coming up to the final question. So task 11, VLOOKUP value and extract functions. Okay, so we're going to extract the color coded values. We're going to use values. So basically what we have here is again a text string which contains text and numbers. What we want to do is extract the green, red and blue values not as text but as numbers. So we need to use the value function. What the value function does is converts a text string that represents a number to a number. So this looks like a number, but since it's part of a text string, it's going to be text, but we need to convert it back into a number using a value. So what we do is we type in equal value and we want to extract the middle characters. So it's going to be 2 characters in and 2 characters long. So let's type in mid. Okay, and the text will be this cell here, comma. We want to start from the second position in and we want to extract 2 characters only. Close both sets of brackets and that's it. So we extracted 21 and hopefully if I drag this down it should be 23. So this is now a value, a number figure instead of text. Okay, when it is a numeric figure we can apply currency, we can use it as part of formulas. So let's change that back to what it is. So let's extract the red value. So again it's going to be mid for the text, and let's click on the text and we want to start from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th character in and then 2 characters long. Let's close the brackets, press enter. So we should have 30 and 32. Yeah, and then the blue again is going to be value. This is the text here, comma. No, what we need to do is the mid. No, let's start that again. You'll notice the blue values on the right hand side. So what we can do now is use the right extract function. Click on this text here, comma 3, close the bracket again. So we should get 119. Perfect. Now, and again you can use this comment here, use a value function to convert values into text string to get some more information on what we're doing. Right, the reason we do use the value function is if you look at these codes here, so it's basically a combination of letters and numbers. We want to extract values which will match up with these lookup values in these table arrays here. So use the value function and convert values into text string to numbers. So what we want is the item name. So we need to extract the red values so they exactly match up with these values here to get the item name. So again, it's going to be VLOOKUP. However, for the lookup value, what we need to do is first type in value, because we need to convert the text string, some elements of it, into a number. So let's click on value. Then what we want to do is type in mid, since the red values are in the middle. And then we want to extract from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, from the 7th character in. So we want to extract from this text. The start number will be the 7th character, and the number of characters we want to extract will be 2. Let's close the bracket. Let's close the bracket on the value, and we're back in our VLOOKUP, and we can now carry on as normal. So the table array will be this table array here. We can highlight it, we can lock it, comma, we want to refer to the second column, and we want the exact match. So I'm hoping when I press enter, 30 has been extracted as a value, which should match up with this value here, and in the second column is water. Let's close the bracket. Let's see. Yes, we got water. And 32 should return us bread. So I'll do the last example. I'll leave a shop name for you guys to figure out. We're going to look up the price. So again, same principle. We're going to do a VLOOKUP. Again, we're going to be converting a value into, or text value into a value. So a text value into a number, should I say, using the value function. So we want to refer to the green colors now. So these green colors values are in the middle. So we're going to use a mid function. And we want to start with this text here, comma, with 2 characters in, and it's 2 characters long. Let's close the brackets. Let's get back to normal VLOOKUP, comma, table array, lock it as you normally would do, comma, the prices are in the second column of what we highlighted, and click on the exact match. Close the bracket. Actually, before we close, so 21 should give us 75 pence, and 23 should give us 45 pence. Yeah, we've got 75 and we've got 45, and we can change that into currency. So last one, I'll leave that with you. So we've come to the end, and you can see it did get more challenging as we did go through this activity. So in the description below, you can find a link to download files and some PDFs which also contain more information about these particular tasks. Okay, thanks for your time. I hope this video does help you for your exams next week, or if you're studying IGCSE or ASIT, hopefully some of these functions will be in your syllabus as well, so it might be worth completing this activity just to develop your spreadsheet knowledge. Again, thanks for your time. Please drop your comments below. Please show your support to the channel and subscribe as well. Thanks again.